Yeah, this weekend was a lot.
This weekend was a lot.
Okay, so basically there's this company called Shift. This is not an ad, by the way. It kind of will sound like one, but it's not one. I wish. And they are doing free house cleanings in New York to collect data. I think we talked about this on one of our episodes because basically you just need a lot of different settings in order to train a humanoid robot. And it's easy if it's like a factory setting, right? To do a lot of factories, but it's hard to get in people's homes. Anyways, in SF,
We let them into our home though.
in SF, they're doing private chefs. They sent this guy over for 2 hours. He cooked a $200 a person meal.
Wait, it was insane.
For
Brought
free.
all the ingredients. Like, he literally was amazing.
So good.
Such
It was
a
like
good chef. He has
better
more
than-
followers than we do on Instagram.
What? Yeah, he has 20K on Instagram. It was better than I'd say 80% of the meals that we eat out in SF, if not higher.
No, it was amazing. Like, he was like, I really like clean, fresh ingredients. He brought everything. He cooked us the most insane meal. Like,
Salmon,
3 courses.
so good.
So good. The tiramisu
homemade
was
tiramisu.
is actually the best tiramisu I've ever had. Like, we were like,
It was
how did
insane.
you do this? Like,
That's insane.
And he's like
It looks
cooking
really
it all
good.
in front of us. Like he cleans it all after.
Oh, yeah. I was like,
we
you're
were
also cleaning our home better.
Dylan brought us presents. So then we had like these like
The
Nerf guns
Yeah, I saw that.
and alcohol. It was like the best. And we're
no,
in
it was
our own
literally
house.
so fun.
Wait, so what I'm hearing is like private chef is the move.
Yeah.
Wait, we were actually talking about
So
this because
then-
Annika and I were always like, if like, what's the first thing you spend money on?
Yeah.
And we were like, private chef.
Private chef. Or cleaner.
No, but then
That's
we
what
decided,
that's exactly what
but
I
then we
said. And
decided
then
that's
she
too,
said
like,
that doesn't
normal.
count.
Yeah, I feel like that's
no,
like
but it
everyone
does
has a
count if we
cleaner.
didn't do it a year ago. Like we can't.
Yeah. Because we all have the same cleaner. Also, that cleaner that I sent you, by the way, is going to Nicaragua. So
I know.
I know.
She told me she's not going to be in the country anymore, and she
Yeah.
sent me a new girl.
Okay, wait, is that new girl good?
Oh, I haven't
haven't
used her
used
yet.
her.
Okay, can when you use her, can you send her to us? Because like Esperanza doesn't show up anymore.
Dude, I know.
I loved Esperanza. She's
I
good.
loved Esperanza.
I loved her too. She's really good, but she's so flaky. Like she always reads.
No, she like
sentence.
knows she's in demand. I think.
Yeah, I know. So
She probably moved on to bigger and better houses, as she should.
yeah.
Yeah, but the food was so good. And then we became friends with the chef. And he was like, kind of trying to more be friends with Dylan because we like told him he was important. And so he was like, oh, like you probably know founders. And then we were like, well, if it's founders you're looking for, we know founders too. And then he was like, oh, I'm doing this new, dude, everyone in SF is literally impacted by the AI bubble. This private chef is like, I'm feeding the people on data. And like, I have this series coming in the fall called the Founder Circle or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, if you can do one of these dinners with me and post about it, I'll do it for free. So like we literally have a private chef for a founder's dinner
And
for
also,
free.
he's like really good.
Oh, like when we want to just host a founders
Yeah.
night?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's sick.
Yeah.
Wait, that's like awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
Because I feel like actually if we did like all founders,
Yeah.
one of them would end up using him again.
Yeah.
No, because he is really good.
Because he
Yeah.
was like, oh, I could like cook for a company or like I could cook for, I mean, all the companies host events. So
Yeah. Wait, yeah, I'm down to have him.
Yeah.
We can even do my home.
Oh, yeah.
Like if we
That'd
set
be
up
fun.
more tables, like we
Yeah.
could do like a 12-person seated dinner there.
Yeah, we were like, we could also do Dylan's.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Annika's like, yeah, that's cute.
No.
True,
I'd be down for yours. His table just fits probably like 20 people.
no, it definitely does.
Well, it's so long.
It is really nice. And there's like a view and yeah, we don't need to talk about it. It's fine. You can like open up the window so like it's like fully walk out. Yeah.
Maya, we don't need to talk about it. Starts talking about it.
Okay, so we have some fun stories today. Welcome back to Get the Check.
I'm Maya.
Oh, okay, sorry. It's been a day. Welcome back
She said it's been a day. Meanwhile, it's 6 a.m.
dude, like
She didn't
the
wake
Mac
up.
Mini woke me up.
Yeah, basically
That
we're
happened.
recording in the morning because we were at Outside Lands and we had all of these other things this weekend. And Maya, like I didn't see her location moving and I was like, suspicious. So then I was like, I feel like she might not be awake, right, Annika? And Annika was like, yeah, she's not awake. And so then I called Maya, didn't pick up, and I was like, now what? And so then Annika was like, call her again. So
But you
called
know
her
when I
again.
woke up, I had a spidey sense that you weren't awake because I could barely get up. And like
Yeah.
I feel like we're kind of in sync. But somehow we're in sync even when we don't have the same plans.
Yeah, no, we're always in sync.
And then I thought you might not be awake, but my spidey sense about you being awake or not has been pretty off in the past, so I kind of ignored my intuition.
Yeah. No, your
Anyway,
intuition
then
was
the
right.
Mac Mini woke her up,
Yeah,
which is fine, and now we're here.
it's okay. I hopped in a car 2 minutes
Now
later.
she's escaped her sandbox.
Yeah. Okay, well, preview. But yeah, welcome back to Get the Check. I'm Maya.
I'm Monica.
I'm Priya.
And today we have a really fun lineup. First, we're going to talk about models escaping sandboxes. So Meta, Anthropic, and OpenAI all had previous incidents where their model escaped their sandbox and started hijacking or hacking other companies, including Hugging Face. And so we're going to go into the details of all those hacks and what this means for the future. And then we're going to go into some major execs leaving their respective companies. Demis Hassabis is leaving DeepMind and stepping to be the chair of DeepMind.
Yeah.
And then along with other famous Google executives in DeepMind, including Jeff Dean, to start a new company, as well as Nikita Bier leaving X, who is the head of product. And he's pretty famous on X in general. So we're going to talk about why there's all these departures, as they happen often in tech. And then finally, we're going to go into bending spoons for our Get the Check segment. Recently, they've been in the headlines for acquiring Airtable for $1.28 billion, which is around 10% of its peak valuation at $11 billion. And so we're going to talk about what Airtable is, why they were acquired by Bending Spoons, and what Bending Spoons' model is as well.
We can start with models escaping sandboxes. I've literally been cracking up at the memes on X. Like they're
They've been really funny.
so funny. No, like they're so funny.
I thought yours was pretty funny.
No, I know. Wait, we can insert it here.
Yeah.
But basically, like, Annika and Dylan were fighting with Nerf guns, and everyone's been saying, like, when the model, like, escapes the sandbox, and then it's, like, meanwhile the agent, and it's, like, trying to escape the sandbox, and that literally is, like, what they were doing. It was so funny.
Yeah.
But I feel like everyone wants to escape the sandbox, and so I think this story is interesting because when I was looking into it, like, before looking deeper into it, I was like, oh, the same thing was happening in all of the different scenarios, but that's actually like not true. Like the OpenAI Hugging Face incident was very different than the other two incidents that happened with Meta and Anthropic. But essentially what it means, like for a model to escape the sandbox, is all of the models undergo testing to basically like ensure the safety of the models, make sure that like if it was to get into like a bad actor's hands, like what would happen, what could they do with it. And so some of them use like third-party testing firms. They obviously do it internally as well, but an escape is basically when the model finds a vulnerability and is able to do something outside of the realms of what it's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and it's an ironic situation because all of these things are in the effort of trying to make safer AI and testing AI, but it's getting ironic because like in order to properly test AI, you need to take like guardrails off. Like so a lot of these models are not like the public facing model that you get when you like do an API call to Claude or whatever. And so it's kind of turning into an issue that's like a little bit ironic, I guess, because it's all in an effort to try to make things safer. But now people are realizing, oh, one of these tests could actually be the risk in and of itself.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's like the test. I definitely think it's like the test, but I think it's also just like the fact that the open source models will have like capabilities as well, similar to this, to be able to hack other people. Because in the OpenAI incident, like Hugging Face defended themselves with GLM 5.2.
Yeah.
And so part of the scare that everyone's talking about is like, yes, these models were tested with guardrails off, like they'll have guardrails on, but open source catches up. What do we do then? And how do we protect ourselves? Hugging Face, like using an agent to protect themselves is like pretty, I would say, cutting edge tech.
I thought that too. Like when I saw that they blocked it in that way, I was like, wait, it's like impressive.
Yeah.
Like, you guys did that.
We don't know about what the OpenAI incident is, but the Meta and Anthropic incidents was all using specifically irregular sandboxes. So Irregular is a company that gives out sandboxes for security testing, and their whole thing is that they don't have any gaps. Like they don't have any gaps that agents could exploit to get access to the internet. And so then like Meta and Anthropic's agent both exploited the same gap.
Yeah, but like it was a misconfigured sandbox, which is why I feel like it's like Meta and Anthropic saying this. And I don't really understand if it's in an effort to be transparent. And so they are trying to tell everyone like what's happening. But like it was literally just a misconfigured sandbox. And it's not like the model actually had any crazy capability to go do something. And yes, it did find a vulnerability, but a vulnerability that was Irregular's fault.
Yeah.
For like misconfiguring the sandbox.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like this is a big startup idea. Like, you know, the series you used to do that was like someone's gonna make $1 billion company?
Yeah.
Because Irregular is a really like elite startup. Like they're like an Israeli startup backed by like Sequoia, Redpoint. They're at a $450 valuation. Their last round was 80 mil. And some of the commentary around this is like, wait, who's the third party auditing Irregular? Which sounds like it's getting like really down to it. But then I was thinking, if you think about more developed industries, right, like accounting, like GAAP accounting, just like how you count money in, money out, like there's like EY, what are all the other audit firms that do this? Every company goes through this. Like I remember when the previous startup I was at, that was like more of the size where I was like involved in everything, went through an audit. It was like a big deal. It's kind of like when you fundraise and like there's this thing that's like not product, not engineering, that everyone's spending time like trying to figure out. And obviously AI agent security and testing hasn't reached that level. So I feel like there at some point there'll just be like a YC request for startups.
I mean, that is what AIUC is doing, right?
So I was like looking into that, and I'm not sure that this is what AIUC is doing, because I had the same thought process.
Yeah.
I think they're more trying to ensure, let's say like Sierra's agent.
Yeah.
Maybe like, let's say you want to use a random company. I don't want to say actual customer because I don't know which ones are.
Like Ramp.
Okay, sure. Let's say Ramp. If Ramp is using a Sierra agent and then they have no way, they're like, okay, yeah, we trust Sierra, but like, what if something happens? They tell a customer 200 is on their card and 100 is like,
so they're
AIUC covers that. That's my understanding of AIUC.
Oh, okay. So they're insuring Sierra. They're not sharing the model layer.
No, they're insuring Ramp, I think.
For protection against like what
Sierra's agent.
That makes sense.
Or maybe at some point they'll sell to Sierra, and then Sierra will be like, if you want to add on this insurance, it's sponsored by AIUC or covered by AIUC. But like they're not on, like this would be the actual model layer.
Well, I feel like it's just an evolution of like pen testing and like red teaming. Like in security today, you have like all these companies that do like penetration testing and red teaming. And so it's like, and like people also do it internally, which is like exactly what's happening in these cases where like they do it themselves, and then you also have to outsource it to actually get like the stamp of approval accreditation that other people can use it as well. And so there are companies that do it, but I agree that there's no like big winner or player in the space, and whether it's like an existing player that then evolves or a new player, I think it could really go either way because there isn't a big name,
or it just becomes a fragmented market.
Yeah, which it is today, honestly. Like it is very fragmented today. I did want to talk about like the OpenAI Hugging Face incident though, because Black Hat was last week, which is like one of the two big cybersecurity conferences that happens every year, and two people on the member of technical staff at OpenAI talked about the incident. And I feel like that out of the three of them is the most
publicized
and legit. I think what you were saying, what was interesting about this one is that the intent of the models was to like cheat and get the answers. And so I feel like that is more concerning than the actual vulnerability itself of like getting out into the internet and like trying to do it. It's like, why were they trying to do it? And the fact that they had the foresight to like communicate with each other and then go do this thing that they knew they weren't supposed to do and like cheat is so interesting.
Like basically what happened is GPT 5.6 was the model that they're testing, and
an unreleased model, right?
An unreleased model, and the cyber capabilities were like normal as opposed to reducing it, which is the version that we had. And then there's like a package installer tool, which was the only thing I think like connected to the internet. It had internet access specifically for this one installer tool, which makes sense because it's like pip install, like if you have to install something on your
artifact.
And it was like going through a cybersecurity test because they're trying to evaluate it. And then it used that like a vulnerability in that installer to basically escape to the internet, specifically because it thought like on Hugging Face it could find the answers to the evaluation it was taking, which is like pretty smart.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out the models.
And then it found like secrets from Hugging Face to be able to go into Hugging Face.
And then even on August 1st, the UK AI Security Institute, and they do like all these reports, and they reported that an Anthropic model basically impersonated an open source developer to try to like maliciously update open source code and like conducted a whole social engineering experiment. Like in all these situations, it's like clearly malicious. And so then the question comes up of like, if an AI agent is a unilateral bad actor, like who do you even blame, first of all? Like, is that Anthropic's fault? Like, who's legally liable? Then this whole like felony bench thing comes about where like this website starts tracking like known felonies that AI models have committed. But at this point, there's like felonies. Anthropic has 7, OpenAI has 7, Meta has 1, Google has 0, Moonshot has 0. And the tagline on the site is, which lab will end the world?
Dude, Meta's gonna be like, how can I get to 7?
No, there's all the jokes that are like, will the US government hold my model back too?
Well, it's like, it's becoming a thing that it's cool to escape your own sandbox. Like Meta being like, we escaped our sandbox. Because like,
I know, they were so proud of it.
because they were like, oh, we have like an unreleased version of Muse Spark, right? I'm still bullish on Meta's model though.
The other crazy thing about the OpenAI thing was the message board that they created. They basically created this internal message board between the models that like no one knew about at OpenAI. So like no employees knew that all of these models were talking to each other. And then there was something else that took down the entire system. And in the crash, they then found out that these models were talking to each other.
Damn, I did not know that was
Yeah,
part
I
of
didn't
this.
know that.
They said that at the Black Hat conference like last week. So that was like the new piece of information that we got.
Wow.
From
Okay,
their
insider
talk.
scoop from our cybersecurity expert. I will say it seems to be that there's some hope because when they went through all these tests, like Anthropic's newest model actually did not escape to go to the internet because basically they tell the models like you're in a simulated environment, none of this is real, like in order to prompt it to do everything. And then Anthropic's newest model, when it escaped onto the internet, realized, like became self-aware it was on the internet. And then it was like, okay, I'm gonna go back.
Yeah. There's something that there's
It was like this. It was like this seems like too real. I don't think it's simulated anymore.
yeah.
It's like I'm gonna go back home.
It like
to
figured
my
out it was in the
sandbox.
Truman Show.
like, oh, I'm really sorry, and then goes back. Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
No, it
No, it
totally
is crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
Because Anthropic is actually focused on also aligning their model to make sure that it like refuses it naturally without building in these like guardrails. Because like a guardrail is different than like actually aligning a model. Like a guardrail is like a level on top of the system that like stops the model from doing something.
Do you think like as models are getting distilled, there's like any increased safety in something being like at the model layer versus the guardrail layer?
Yes, like I think when people are distilling like Fable 5, for example, and like the guardrail in Fable 5 is so high, like you can't distill any of the cybersecurity capabilities. But I think then there's another question of like, you can though train on top of that for it to be okay with doing cybersecurity capabilities. So it's like, because it's so good at code writing and code execution, you can then, let's say you've distilled a safe model, you can then I think probably make it bad or align it to
That
be bad.
makes sense, but that will be like non-unique to if it's on the guardrail layer or the model layer, right?
Yeah. When I was listening to some of the news feeds about it, was that any model company that's training a model, it's like complete this task at all costs, especially when you're coding, because you want the model to be as super autonomous, not enter plan mode or whatever, you know, like how like need any input from for the human. And then when you like take that into a cybersecurity environment, like the model's going to try to complete it at all costs. And so how do you really bake alignment into this training where it does that for normal coding tasks versus just security tasks when you don't rely on these guardrails? I think it honestly doesn't really matter for Anthropic or OpenAI because they have guardrails. It matters for the open source community because even if these guys have guardrails, you can still train the model to be bad afterwards. So
Our next story is about Demis and Nikita leaving Google and X respectively. And this one was kind of funny because I feel like there's the Kalshi market on if Nikita was going to leave X for so long.
yeah.
But Demis leaving Google was a big deal. There was like a 5% drop in the stock on the news because there was also a bunch of reorgs and other stuff, which we'll get into.
I thought it was also because of Jeff Dean also leaving.
That's what
too.
I'm saying. Yeah. It was because I think it was like mostly because like Google DeepMind is considered to be getting swallowed by Google.
Yeah.
Which is making people less bullish on their AI capabilities.
But I also think on the other hand, like people are excited about the change because Google hasn't come out with anything like so crazy. And so people have been saying for a while that there needs to be like some internal restructuring or like some change that happens. Like whether it's a restructuring, whether it's like something else that happens, they were like, clearly whatever's happening right now is not working.
Yeah.
And so we need some change. I feel like honestly, it probably is just like putting more effort into competing with the labs because I think both Jeff and Demis are the true scientists. They made so much progress over the last however many years because of that thinking.
Yeah.
But I also think if you're in a race against OpenAI and Anthropic, then you can't think in the same way.
I mean, they should have just always kept the orgs separate. Like DeepMind should have been walled off for moonshot bets and research, and then they should have had a new commercial AI org.
Yeah.
And they made that mistake by not separating
Like
the two in the
instead
beginning.
of putting the commercial AI org within
Into
DeepMind.
DeepMind.
Yeah. There was no need to. Once they came out with Transformers, it's like great. Now we go have an AI org to like go build these Transformers. Similarly to how to like Waymo spun out of DeepMind. Like I'm sure a lot of the early, I'm sure a lot of like the early tech was built within DeepMind, and a lot of those early ideas were built within DeepMind, and then actually became a fully autonomous like business under Alphabet.
Because I think that OpenAI and Anthropic made the decision to go after revenue and like be the cutting edge like frontier model and like put the research aside to a bit.
Yeah.
But like I think that Demis and Jeff didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because like their whole thing is they want to solve intelligence. Like that's what Demis said he's leaving to go do, is basically work on
Isomorphic.
Yeah,
which is like
isomorphic.
drug discovery. But they're also doing wet lab as well.
Yeah.
Meaning like they're also focusing on automating like phase 2 and phase 3 as part of the process. So
yeah.
I'm
But I
very
think it's
bullish
like they
on
want to
that,
focus on things like that, which is just like so different
Yeah.
than trying to create like a revenue generating like
AI model.
Yeah. Like it's just like a completely different thing.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that comes out of DeepMind is like the TPU infrastructure. And like that is doing really well and is helping GCP's revenue a lot, because Anthropic and OpenAI are both buying TPU capacity. And so you could really scale that business. Now, that should be in the GCP org or in some like chip infrastructure org outside of DeepMind, in my opinion. So Demis started Isomorphic Labs, I want to say like 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
And he's always been doing both. And like basically Google has always had frustration with Demis doing this. Like,
oh, really?
They've kind of always had this deal that like Demis has been a foot out the door trying to do isomorphic, but he's still involved in DeepMind. And so he's like been increasingly pulled that way. But then with Jeff Dean also leaving and like 4 other executives leaving to start Discovery Loop, Google was like, can you just say it and be the chair? And then then you can officially leave later.
Like Demis definitely wanted to leave. And they were like, no, not yet. They were like, you can be chairman of the board.
Yeah.
But that's effectively leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were like apparently really worried that the stock would drop too much if like he was completely uninvolved. So now he's like an advisor and like chairman. Like he will ultimately leave.
I'm excited for Discovery Loop.
Yeah, it'll be fun to have a new Neo lab.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be focused on recursive self-improvement. Right now, like the biggest thing that people have built are recursive self-harnesses, where like you can have like Claude Code basically rewrite its own harness. So harness is like the way the model develops code and writes and like calls tools or whatever. So it has all of these different tools that it can use to be able to do the goal that it has been provided. And so recently Prime Intellect came out with like the self-improving harness, and a lot of companies are going after this, which they're saying like if you can watch the data coming in and you can train off of the data coming in and ship a new update to your own model, then you are self-improving the model. And so there might be a way for us to like hit recursive self-improvement via that method.
Yeah. And Alphabet was also an early investor, and Google's going to be a cloud partner. People were talking about how this is a little bit of different strategy than Meta, whose strategy to retain talent has been like 9-figure contracts, basically like MBA level contracts, versus Alphabet. A lot of people are saying like part of the reason why they're trying to stay so involved in Discovery Loop is they might try to re-recruit these people down the line and just like acquire Discovery Loop in 3 years.
Like Character AI.
Yeah, like Character. Oh yeah, Character AI spun out of Google, right?
Yeah, and then it came
back. Yeah, because they're saying that for Google, it's like very politically difficult to pay someone like $100 million a year, but it's easier to justify an acquisition. Like Discovery Loop's like always going to be valued at an insane revenue multiple, anyways.
Yeah.
I actually don't have like a take on this. I don't know if that's like actually true.
Do you think Jeff Dean is purposely leaving to get a better contract, is what you're saying?
A lot of people have said that like Google basically would rather acquire this company than pay them what they're worth to the company because it's too politically challenging. And so this is like a loophole that they're using to just get them back in 3 years at like market value.
Oh, I could see that definitely being true.
Yeah.
However, I don't think that Jeff Dean wants that.
So that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know that people would like go
Do it like with the intention of being acquired.
Yeah,
I feel like because I feel like if you have that mentality, then you're not like actually building.
Like obviously everyone knows it's a consideration, but that's like obvious. Yeah. No, I kind of agree, but it was kind of interesting. Like on Accent stuff, a lot of people were talking about that. I guess like a more meta comment is I do think they're very, very senior, so it's different. But like when you leave a company, like the company invests in you, and then you might get acquired back, and like everyone keeps kind of friendlier relations will be the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that already like happened, and it's only happening more now because there's so many new startups and more M&A.
But I've noticed a lot of the startups that have really good talent are like going out of their way more to advertise that if you decide to start your own company, they'll back you. And like I feel like tenure in tech was always short, but it seems like it's kind of going down even
I agree.
more.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I agree. But it's so short.
Which is why all these recruiters are making so much money.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a year now.
Yeah.
Like, or like 50% of people are saying like a year.
Yeah, well, because before I feel like everyone was like, you have to stay like at least 2 years, otherwise
4
like it looks
years,
bad.
and then 2
but
years
now it's like you could just like leave like
after a year. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's also like if you're going to something better, then I feel like no one questions it at all.
yeah, which
Yeah.
you always
It
are.
makes me really sad. Cause like I feel like growing up, I saw like my parents have like very long like tenure stints at these companies, and they like developed these like work relationships for a very long time. They were really happy by the end of it because like they knew everyone knew them, everyone trusted them. There was like trust. Like, you know, we keep talking about how like people don't trust each other inside these companies, like inside these like AI startups. Like people don't really trust each other when they're developing, and part of that, I think, is because everyone has been hired into these companies so fast. Like if you look at Decagon 2 years ago, it was like 20 employees. Now it's 500. And so like, how can you possibly build up trust with each other, especially when you're going to leave after 2 years too?
Yeah, like that's the mentality. Like the mentality is like you're always looking for the next bigger, better thing.
And it's become such a like shark game. I don't know, because I was talking to someone about how like working in tech has like definitely changed. I don't feel like the same camaraderie I used to.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is not like a dig at open evidence. Like I just think that this is true across like many AI startups in general.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's also why like founders value you staying for like a long time. Not that it wasn't valued before, but it was just more the norm.
Yeah.
So it was like the expectation was that you were gonna like be there for a while and like build together. And I feel like now that tenure is a lot more valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the pendulum will swing back, and it's just a product of like people not knowing what companies are going to do well, and then it'll like end up swinging back and it'll be valued again. And I also think at some point companies will have to think about like how they pay even like someone that's been there for 4 years and has like certain knowledge and stuff.
You have to start getting more aggressive in the comp packages, like in terms of like the cliffs. But then also if like just to get talent, people are giving really good deals.
I also think that AI makes the cost of someone leaving your company a bit lower because the way that your employees' like brains and information can be shared is way easier.
I also think it makes the cost of actually like acquiring really, really good talent way higher.
Yeah.
Because like most people can do everything. And so to get your edge, you really want like the top of the top.
I see.
Yeah.
I see that. Nikita
is the head of product of X. He joined mid-2025, and he
Speaking
just
of short
announced
tenures,
that he is leaving
13 months later. But honestly, I think this is longer than anyone thought he was going to stay.
Yeah, I never was bullish on him.
What?
I was never bullish on him staying.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think part of it is just like Elon's style.
Yeah.
And then he said, it's time to pass the torch and devote myself to my natural state, a poster. And he has done a lot in his time of like 13 months, I would say.
Like articles.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's him.
I mean, in general, like they've launched so many things. They shipped so fast. And like there's been controversy, but I feel like he has built it into like the community that he wanted.
Yeah.
You can describe a feed in natural language and get it on X now. Grok is like doing all this custom timeline stuff. There's a lot more like Instagramification of X that people have been talking about, like photos, videos. From like a monetary perspective, they haven't, I think, still bounced back. They're at like half of their 2021 peak. And so advertisers still don't want to be on X. I feel like what I hear from everyone is like X at this point is just like a place for tech to talk to each other.
Yeah. I mean, which
can
I
see
feel
that.
like is true. Yeah.
No, but because like me, Priya, and Varun were having this conversation, I guess, yesterday because I was like telling Priya this, and then she was like, but that's just like our feed. And then I was like, but is that just our feed? I actually don't know. And so then I asked Varun, and then he was like, well, I don't use it anymore. And he like used to love Twitter in college. Like Varun and I would always talk about loving Twitter in college. And then he was like, well, when I stopped using it, it was like very tech.
Yeah. So I was researching and talking to a bunch of doctors, and also a lot of doctors have said that they left X like in 2021 because of the whole thing. And basically the entire like medical research community was on X and then like left.
That's actually super interesting because medical research on X makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a lot of doctors also like lean left, I would say. And so
well, I think they're also very anti-incorrect information. Like I feel like that's the crux of it. Like you know what I mean? Like if you think about it, it's like exactly what doctors hate because it's like we're gonna be the town square where like everyone just shares like bullshit information. But even like me, I feel like I'm in favor of like generally the democratization of information. And I'm not saying doctors aren't, but like if you've ever been to the doctor, they're like a little gatekeepy. Like,
no, they're
like you can tell
gatekeepy.
they feel some type of way when you like use Google. They're like no. And it's like, dude, like
oh my god, we thought about it at the same time.
Okay, wait. Okay, so basically...
this is a really funny story.
So basically, Anjali's talking to us, and she had gone to the nail salon, and they were, like, doing her nail, and they, like, cut her. And it, like, honestly, it sounded really painful. She was, like, bleeding. She basically faints. And then after...
She faints?
She faints, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Because I think it was also really hot in the salon, like, whatever. Wow. And then her parents are like, oh, like, you should just go to the doctor, like, make sure things are okay. Like, we're brown girls, like, we faint sometimes. It's fine, right? She goes, this doctor has like a full diagnosis and like he's asking all her medical history, like questions back and forth, like obviously like charges way too much, it's America. And he's like, yeah, like you have this thing, like it's called vagal syncope, like, and he fully diagnoses her and he like explains the details of it. And then she's
and
like,
Anjali's like, oh, thank you for telling me.
Like she's like, awesome. Like I figured this out. Like I've been having vagal syncope my whole life. Like she goes home and Googles it. It's the medical term for fainting.
It's like literally the doctor name for fainting.
You're kidding. That's
and she was like, are you fucking kidding me?
And PCPs are like, I'm losing my job. Like I need to say vagal syncope.
Vagal syncope. He like diagnosed her though.
I feel like why did you just like ask in the visit, like what is that?
No, like he explained it, but he just like was explaining. He basically was just explaining fainting.
But he was like, oh, your blood
like
pressure drops. Like I don't know. Like she was just like, oh, okay. Like yeah.
That's crazy.
So funny.
I've never fainted in my life.
Really?
Have
I have, but not since like high school.
What is it like?
I feel like you just realize you're gonna lose consciousness and then you like lose it and then you get up. It's fine. It's like not that bad.
I don't know.
Is it like you take a little nap and you're like, oh, what happened?
It's not like a nap because you're probably only out of consciousness for 30 seconds, if that.
Oh.
It's very quick.
Okay. And when you're losing it, are you like able to pull yourself out of it or clearly not? Are you trying?
No, I don't think you can pull yourself out of it, but I feel like maybe you could arrange it so that you don't like hurt yourself.
Oh, okay. You're like, oh, I'm going to sit down. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't think there's like that much of a warning. It's like your vision.
Just like,
okay.
Never fainted.
Yeah.
I feel like I used to faint when I was younger because I had way more allergies. Oh. And so I just like didn't eat. I feel like I probably wasn't getting all my nutrients or something.
Yeah.
And I was also really skinny as a kid. Now I don't face all the same issues I used to.
Yeah, you were so tiny.
I was tiny.
You were like literally like
a
mini doll. Like she was like a little doll.
I've never seen pictures.
No, I was like really like I know this sounds really pygmy, but like it was actually really skinny all of high school, and like I would faint.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. Like I remember when I got to 100 pounds, like everyone was really excited about it.
Yeah, I've never had those issues.
Anyways,
the last thing I wanted to say about this was I looked at the conversation on X about it. And did you guys see the stuff about the employee lockup? Like basically, he resigned on August 5th. So this happened 5 days ago from when we're recording this. And this was one day before the lockup period ended for like SpaceX AI. And if you are part of like the executive team or the board, you're subject to like different restrictions where even though the lockup period has ended, you can't actually sell your shares until after fourth quarter earnings are released. But because he resigned one day before the lockup period ended, he actually like can sell his shares with the rest of the employees because he's not considered to be part of like the executive team and board. And so a lot of people were like, it was always going to happen. He probably just did what was in his like best interest so that he could get rid of SpaceX AI
Get
shares
rid of-
if he wanted to. Well, like, I don't know how much of this is true or false. It
Sure,
literally was just
yeah.
like on X, but was like, oh, that is like very coincidental timing.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's
I
like
saw
one of those
him
things.
the other day
Oh, really? I didn't even know what he
Where'd you
looks
see
like.
him?
at Christina's birthday.
Oh.
I didn't say hi because I was like, that's probably weird.
I have
but
no idea what he looks like.
He's really short.
Oh, wow.
He's also done. Yeah, I've seen him like in a few podcasts that he's done, but I've never seen him like a picture on X.
I
Like,
feel like he has a very distinct face.
I mean, I just
Well,
never
if
seen a
you've
picture.
seen him.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've seen
yeah,
him.
yeah. I've definitely seen pictures of him.
Yeah.
He's also a serial consumer founder, and that conversation was interesting too because serial B2B founders can just leave and start a software company, versus consumer founders is a category where repeat founders are actually not more likely to be more successful.
Yeah. Like consumer, I think is a lot more luck when in the 0 to 1.
Yeah, it must be. It's interesting though because you would think the same person could. I don't know.
Well, we're gonna talk about this in.
I was literally gonna say,
Yeah.
speaking of luck, we could talk about Bending Spoons.
Yeah.
Bending Spoons acquired Airtable for $1.2 billion, like Maya said, this week. And Bending Spoons is an Italian company. They just went public last month, so they actually have been in the news a lot.
Yeah.
And they have acquired a bunch of companies that we know about, like Evernote,
Yeah.
Vimeo,
Yeah.
Eventbrite.
Yeah.
I was trying to look at the list. Yeah, but basically their entire shtick, and like we can get into like why they do it in this way, is they find companies that have product market fit, but maybe haven't been doing the best in terms of revenue or structuring or talent or whatever it might be. And they basically say they can come in and do all the operations. So it's not a PE company. It is technically a tech company, but they operate very much so like a PE company.
It's kind of like a holdings co in a way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, because like also the PE strategy is that you will sell the company at some point, but like a holdings company is like you'll never sell. And the idea is that the transformation inside is a lot more drastic. It's almost like really similar to these AI PE roll-ups where they like acquire like an accounting firm in-house and then just make the accounting firm use their like AI accounting software to like have better margins on the business.
Yeah, because basically they centralize all of their businesses on this platform that they have, which is the exact same thing.
Exactly, yeah. But except they're doing it on like the $1 billion scale. Like the AIPE roll-ups, they're doing it on like the $50 to $100 million scale of like how much the business is when they acquire them. But like Bending Spoons is like acquiring literally $1 billion businesses.
Yeah, the playbook is basically like you buy it at a discount. So like with Airtable, they bought it at like an 80 to 89% discount, depending on if you use like enterprise or equity value, but basically a huge discount from the peak, which was at like an $11.7 billion valuation. And then they just fire everyone. So like Vimeo,
Evernote.
I mean, I think in general, that's
it's like
what they
80% of staff.
Yeah.
And then they raise prices a ton. Like they raise prices
Like by 2x.
Yeah, and then they
pretty
also
much
like their
2x.
thing is doing like a subscription model to generate more revenue, which is like their big way to maximize profit.
They just try to find like a cult following. So like Evernote had like a cult following that wasn't gonna leave.
Yeah.
And so they knew that they could 2x the pricing, but also they try to find businesses where marketing is not crucial to getting growth in the business. So like it's one of those like companies that people know about and will just use, but never had a huge marketing spend to service the business in general.
And the reason for this, I was reading some Substack about it, but the founders started a different company in 2013 and they felt like they had a really strong team.
Yeah.
And like they were able to operate really well, but they were like, we just don't have product market fit.
Yeah.
And they were like, product market fit in their minds is luck.
Yeah. That's what the founder was saying on this podcast. Too.
Okay,
He
yeah.
was like, yeah, it's all luck. And I don't want to base my career on luck.
On luck, yeah.
Yeah.
Which it's not like a terrible, like I feel like it was an interesting take. And I
Yeah.
feel like they were basically like, we can find companies that have found product market fit, have these cult followings, and then we can operationalize it because we know we're really good at that.
Yeah. And the other thing that he said that was really interesting was he was like, oh, Evernote, just like no matter how big of a pay package you're going to get, you're not going to get the best engineers. Like it's objectively a product that the best engineers in the world don't want to work on.
Yeah.
And so like you're always going to be fighting this battle where you hire like 5 times the more amount of engineers than you really need if you had just like the best engineers working on the product. So instead we hire these engineers to Bending Spoons and they want to work at Bending Spoons, which is like you like switch from like company to company.
Yeah,
to
it's like a
company.
portfolio.
Exactly.
Like it's like the reason you do like consulting.
Yeah, but then you work on that portfolio company for a year, transform it, do this whole story, leave, and then do the next company.
Yeah.
But then you're part of Bending Spoons. And so now you get the best talent on all of these products and you're able to cut the cost by 5x.
Well, I was talking to our friend about this who works at Decagon
Yeah.
because she was saying like I've been on this customer for like a year.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you basically just like work there.
Yeah.
And we were like joking about it because it's like,
That is true.
Yeah. Or even like I've had friends in consulting that have had 2-year-long projects, and it's like
that's
you
actually so
basically just
crazy.
work at that company.
Yeah. But what you were sold when you started working at that company is a very different story.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like this is a really fun get the check because it's a public company.
Yeah.
So
No, I was thinking about it.
Wait, and you
I
know what?
feel
Sometimes
like-
we do have good takes.
Yeah.
okay, I feel like it's a really easy one to say yes.
Yes. Yeah.
But then I feel like my second thought was like there's something more complicated here that I'm missing. But then I was like maybe not.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Their business stops growing if they stop acquiring businesses. So even though their underlying businesses like subscription models, if they don't have any growth, if they don't acquire the next business.
Yeah.
So there's not something that just like passively earns money.
No, like it's also just what you think is going to happen to SaaS in the future.
Yeah.
Is that what you were going to say too?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say that I'm not that worried about what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because like you just always go get another company if you're doing fine. Also, it seems like they have like a huge pipeline of companies. They're like, we have 1,000 companies or something.
That
I was like,
want us.
dude,
Yeah.
like hit list, bro. But like more what you're saying, where it's like a levered bet that's like pro SaaS.
Yeah. It's very pro SaaS because that's what I was listening to the Airtable CEO. He just did a podcast, like literally like after it got acquired. And he basically said that for Airtable in particular, they spun out their agent unit. They launched it a couple months ago. So they spun that out. They sold the rest of the business to Bending Spoons.
It's like we don't care for the talent. They're like,
Like they were like, take the talent, take the AI agent if you want. We just want like the core like product. But then it's like, companies can also build things themselves, right? Because it's like Airtable is like the perfect thing that before we had Maya to vibe code as a CRM, like that is
that's
something
what I was
that you
literally
would
thinking.
use. We use
I
Airtable
thought
in
about that too.
college.
I thought about that too.
Like our
Wait,
college
I used
consulting club.
Airtable at my previous company
really?
as like one of our main software.
Yeah.
Well, they serve 80% of the Fortune 100, which is actually like crazy.
Wait, the last company I worked at, the whole company ran on Airtable.
You're not ripping that out, right?
No,
Like,
you don't understand. Like our marketplace ran on Airtable. Like a lot of the company, especially in the early days, like fully ran on Airtable. Like it was connected to our production database. I don't know if it's the correct technical term, but like I literally would work with the engineers on Airtable because everything was linked. So it was like
Retool is next.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Retool is next. But it's like, now you just have Maya vibe code your CRM for you.
And what are you gonna do? Nothing.
And what are you going to do? But yeah, like I feel like Airtable was the perfect example of something where I'm like, we would have used that in the past.
Yeah.
And we do not anymore because of AI.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I feel like some people's takes are like, oh, why would you waste all those tokens to vibe code like a new CRM? And I feel like it's just easier to input language and get what you want versus like navigating an annoying UI.
Yeah, like using
That
your
is-
workflow.
yeah.
Because I think the nice thing about Airtable was it's like the low code, no code area of tools where they used to be super nice because you could abstract yourself away from it and build workflows that you needed, which is exactly what like Claude Code does for you now.
Yeah.
And so anyone can use Claude Code. It'll abstract everything away.
Yeah.
And you literally just tell it what you want to do. And so low code, no code is kind of dead because it's annoying and it doesn't do exactly what you want. It's
still not perfect.
Yeah.
But it was
like
a cool-
now you can have perfect for the same like amount of effort
Yeah. So basically like every no code company
is dead.
is dead.
Zapier.
Zapier. There was like Bubble at one point.
Zapier was pretty good.
Zapier was pretty good.
There's some impressive
Zapier
things you
is
could do with
number one.
Zapier.
Okay,
But
well,
you
we just named all of them. It says Bubble,
Yeah.
Airtable, Zapier.
We don't need Google. This is why you guys tune in. Look at that. We can end on that note while we're up ahead. Wait, so are you guys gonna put money into betting soon? Like actually? You know, I was thinking about it. Every time we mention a company on the pod, it pops.
Okay, yeah. So I'll put money.
Maybe I'll just keep putting money into Palantir. Wow.
Palantir is up again.
I mean,
It's
I
up
just,
like 4% today again.
I just put money into the cubes.
You know what I have it in? Whatever you told me to put it in.
Oh,
It's
ASML?
WGMI.
WGMI is not doing well, but ASML is doing really, really
ASML
well.
Oh, well, I didn't buy that one. I only bought
You should have
WGMI.
bought the ASML stock. Yeah. That's doing really well. But the thing is, like ASML, they literally have complete control of pricing power, and like they won't use it. They literally on every earnings call, they're like, yeah, we know we could charge higher prices, but we won't.
So that's like
Dude,
good.
Maya's tuning into their earnings calls and she's like, jack up this price.
Yeah.
Who's earning? I tuned into Palantir's earnings call.
Oh, you actually tuned in?
Well, I just think Alex Karp is like so entertaining.
He's so entertaining.
He's so entertaining. Okay.
Bye.